And great to have you with us here on this nighttime at noon on the 18th of October. Dave Goucher, Shane Hnidy from Studio 31 here at City National Arena. I didn't move here, Shane, for the clouds and the rain. It rains twice a year, 3 times a year, and I'm already complaining about it. But this
is even cold in here today.
It's about 18 degrees here in the studio. You can hang meat. But Shane cranked the heat up to 80. But
no.
It might kick in by the end of the show. But so I have my complaints out of the way. Great to have all of you with us, by the way. This is not just our great friends at Fox Sports Las Vegas on the radio side, but on all of our social media channels. So out there on the Twitters, the Twitch, the YouTube, and the Facebook. We're out there. So
we're out there.
You're
out there, all right.
I want it noted. Neither of us have any makeup on, but that's probably for the best. We're out there. That's right. So a couple of games in the books for the VGK. A win over the Seattle Kraken. A great night at T-Mobile, right, Shane? We'll kind of go look back before we look forward. Great night against Seattle. Maybe we'll start there. Incredible pregame show, as usual, by the production team.
How cool is that?
Yeah, like all the –
it's incredible.
Yeah, they continue to kind of outdo themselves.
You got to raise it up, and the bar is already high enough.
Yes.
It's not an easy task.
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome pregame. And then the Golden Knights, they build the lead up 3-zip. I know Pete DeBoer kind of talked about he felt they had chances to extend the lead, couldn't do it. The next thing you know, they're in a 3-3 game, and then Chandler Stevenson wins it inside of, 30 seconds after Seattle had tied it.
Yeah, beautiful shot by Geek of Seattle right before that. But, you like that response. I think that's something, when I go back to the success of the Golden Knights, was their ability to react off a goal against, whether it's a big shift or even better, scoring right away after. And, that line – we got to enjoy them for that game. Stevenson, Pacioretty, and Stone certainly saw their strength. And, I've talked about this a few days after that first game going back to Seattle. The way they score the goals off the rush. Stevenson's speed, that first one by Pacioretty, he just drives the lane, and that opens up space for those two guys, which they're so good at. Stone finding Pacioretty finding the back of the net. And then, that goal just, again, Stevenson's speed, driving to the net, yes. And anybody who's arguing to me, it was a good goal. There was no kicking motion. It was directed in, yes. But by the time he directed it with a skate, there was no, to me, deliberate kicking motion. That's a good goal in the NHL, but a good reactionary goal after Seattle tied it up, and that's all they would need. A good win in that home opener for them, and got 2 points. And, they were able to let Seattle try and find that win somewhere else, which they did in Nashville.
We are going to have updates, by the way, on the Golden Knights, who have unfortunately had more than their fair share of injuries going back to the preseason. And then, let's chat here about the game in L.A. on Thursday for the Kings, their season opener, playing at Staples Center, a team that's trying to, improve again this year, 3 seasons in a row, no playoffs. And for the Golden Knights, Shane, just we talked about it on TV. Not a good night. I think mostly it starts with work ethic, and if you don't have – everything seems to kind of flow from that. If you don't have that, which they really didn't seem to have it, they get it handed to them pretty good in a 6-2 loss.
And I think the description by the head coach, Pete DeBoer, who just spoke after practice, called it soft. And that's a great example. They were soft defensively. They just – and that relates to compete. They got outworked. The better team won the game, and they could have been a lot worse than 6. Robin Leonard, take him out of the game because I think just he needed to find a way to try and turn the tide whichever way you can. When you got a team that just can't find it that night, you look for different ways to find that spark or something to turn the momentum in the game. And Brossoit comes in, but not much help for the goaltenders in this game. And it was a bad game overall. Not only the loss, but then losing a couple key components from that game, Dave.
Yeah, you watch the game and you see Mark Stone go off the ice, which looked like an innocent enough play, and I was, I think I had said you wondered so you're trying to examine it, right? Was it his leg? No, and we think it's another area. Pete DeBoer said, look, he's been dealing with something that's been manageable. Then it wasn't manageable. You watched him go off the ice the other night, helped by a couple of trainers, and barely moving as he went down the runway. So that wasn't particularly good to see.
No, it wasn't. And I'm not going to say all we know now. And again, from what Pete DeBoer spoke to today, he will see a doctor, and they hope to have, a little more information after that. But, yeah, tough to see Mark Stone being helped like that. And you're exactly right. It was such an innocent play. Just kind of came in across the blue line, cut to his right, just shot the puck, and then he curled to the bench, and then just, for whatever reason, something wasn't right, and hopefully hopefully it's not as bad. We'll see what the prognosis is here after his doctor's appointment.
So you've got Mark Stone leaves the game, and then Max Pacioretty stays in the game. You mentioned, Shane, we had that collision kind of in front of the net.
Peterson,
ran into Peterson that, he looked like he was laboring, and then it turns out he had, at some point in the second period, took a puck off the foot. It is what it is, right? 6 weeks, or roughly, week to week, but
4 to 6.
4 to 6, and hopefully it's
guys tend
to
heal quicker now. I find he can come back, but yeah, it's so for Patrick. It was supposedly just not even a blocked shot. It was just a strange play away from everything, and they're going to lose him for a while. So you take 2/3 of that top line with Stevenson. They've got to find a way, and a lot of the narrative coming in was this is the deepest forward group of players they've had. They've had some other guys out. Hopefully can start to see some of them return because they're going to need it. But still, when you lose those quality of players, it's the way I look at it. Let's spin it positive. It is opportunities for other players, and that's all you want as an athlete, as a pro athlete, is to have, more opportunity, a bigger role, a bigger chance to prove yourself. And that's what some guys are going to have. When you take that out of your lineup, they need someone to step up, and they're going to have that chance to see who that can be.
Yeah, as Shane mentioned, Pete DeBoer had just met with the media here moments ago. The Golden Knights had finished up their practice here at City National Arena. They went with 10 forwards today in practice. The lines look like the following. The misfit line stayed together. You had Chandler Stevenson in the middle between Brett Howden, who's yet to play in the regular season, get injured in the preseason, and Evgeny Dodonov. Another line of Nolan Patrick with Will Carrier on a wing. Carrier, of course, hasn't played since taking that skate in the face against Colorado in the preseason. Keegan Kolesar was the other winger on that line. And then Nick Waugh was in a non-contact red jersey. Pete DeBoer did note after practice that obviously the non-contact jersey is one thing, but he did everything, participated in all the drills, etc. So you hope that for Nick Waugh and for the Golden Knights, he's trending in the right direction. I mentioned to you, Shane, when they in the middle of the team losing on Thursday, so they didn't play again until Wednesday. So they had more than enough time to try to get some guys healthy. I guess little did they know they're going to lose Max Pacioretty for a significant time. We'll see about Mark Stone. Part of me wondered on the air, would it be best, do they want to get right back on the horse and play over the weekend, right? The other side of that coin is they've had more than their fair share of injuries already, and hopefully they can start to get some. They might add 3 and lose 1 or 2, but at least they might be able to get some players back.
Yeah, my answer changed after we heard the news from after that game, because normally you lose a game like that, you're not happy with your performance, you want to get back, you want to play someone and take it out on them right away. But with the situation of the Golden Knights and with the injuries and guys potentially coming back, that more time, you want to take even more time. So it's kind of worked for them. We'll see what that lineup looks like Wednesday. I imagine they'll have to bring some guys up from Henderson as well, the Silver Knights, to help complete it. The good thing is the D is full, healthy, ready to go.
Yeah, they're all good. Pete DeBoer said this morning his team's going to be much stiffer defensively. Felt they were too easy to play against the other night. It was interesting how he put it. He was asked about Mark Stone, and is he optimistic about Stone playing potentially on Wednesday? And he said, I'm not optimistic or pessimistic. He said, I'm nowhere. It's like the Nowhere Man. Big hit for the Beatles back in 1965. Who? The Beatles, yeah. But an interesting way to put it that I guess you can't put, until they know more and until Stone meets with the doctors he's going to meet with, you can't really, you can pencil in, I guess, who you think you might have. But I want to get back a little bit, Shane, to the work ethic part of it. We saw sometimes in the exhibition season where, the Golden Knights were okay. They played 2 good games against Colorado or 2 pretty intense games against a rival. Then the other teams they played, the other 5 exhibition games were against teams that had missed the playoffs last year. Yeah. Arizona, a couple against San Jose, and a couple against the Kings. I tried to chalk it up to human nature being what it is. It could be difficult mentally to get up for these games. The work ethic part, and Pete DeBoer mentioned this after the game in L.A. the other night, it was an issue in that game, and you have to hope that part of it. I know it's only 2 games, and people I don't want to get too carried away, but you've got to have that as kind of the basis for what you're doing as a team, I would think.
Well, you do, and we've discussed this a lot, and how do you word this? Well, talked about the teams that go deep in the playoffs. So let's just go to the Final Four last year. Montreal 0-3, right? Tampa Bay, they're 2-1, but they had a major comeback. They were losing to Detroit big time in their very first game of the season. They're able to let their skill take over. The Islanders 0-2.
Yeah.
Vegas 1-1, and Tampa's played one more game than them. So, I think there's a little bit of human nature that comes into is a factor in this. That you come in, you're excited, you're expected to go far again. These teams have a lot of expectations, especially after what happened the previous season, and for whatever reason, you don't get ramped up as much. And I think preseason you need to find a way to get there. And the teams that did, like LA had a terrific preseason, and it didn't change when we saw them. That's what I was expecting. They worked hard. A lot of those teams, the Buffalo Sabres, are they motivated? Yeah, well, they're 2-0. Is Buffalo going to go, I don't know. Ottawa, those type of teams have come out of it ready to go. And for whatever reason, some of those teams that have higher expectations, it's taken a little while to find, that game and for them to ramp it up. But that said, there's no excuse. They need to get back, and it starts to me that the compete at level has to elevate. I think that maybe having a couple of important pieces out of there might be a little bit of the kick in the rear that they're looking for, and saying, hey guys, we've got to get going. We have to get back to that style, to Golden Knights hockey that we need to play. They're going to need everybody on board. They're going to utilize depth. They're going to utilize everybody's going to have a chance. So it's about having that opportunity to step up. It was the next man mentality.
Yeah.
And we can't keep comparing to year one, but that's part of the culture that was built here. And you don't want to take that away. That team identity of the Golden Knights, the speed, the work ethic, that's got to be your foundation. And then as you add the skill, you add that into your game.
We were chatting a little bit in the office before we came over to the studio with Derek Englund, and he said, maybe in a good way, to lose 6-2, there's no camouflaging that, right? If you lose 3-2 and you lose by a goal, give up a goal late, lose in a shootout. Well, we were close enough. Yeah. Well, they weren't nearly close enough the other night. 6-2 loss, and it could, to your point, it could have been worse, right? Arvidsson had a couple of breakaways. Kopitar had 5 points. Doughty had 4 points. Could have been worse. So that's a way. And I would think, if you're Pete DeBoer, you've got more than enough ammunition coming off a game like that to say, guys, in these areas, whatever they are, that he would dissect. We've got to be a lot better.
And it is. It's a wake-up call, because you look at the 4-3 win over Seattle. Was it their best game? No. It was good enough to win, but there's a lot of areas and maybe some bad habits that carried over. And, now it's not disguised. It's out in the open for these guys to realize, hey, that we're not anywhere close to where we need to be. So they've got to fix it, and they have some time to get, some guys healthy, have some time to work on all those parts of their game, get some pace back, get some speed. The coaching staff, Pete DeBoer, it's a really good evaluation period for them to go over. Now they have some, 2 games of video that they can really pinpoint, show the guys, work on those aspects of their game, and hopefully get better here for Wednesday.
Chock-full program here on Nighttime at noon. Keegan Kolesar is going to join us a little bit later. We're also going to take a look around the NHL, take a look at the Henderson Silver Knights. They're off to a 2-0 start as well. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at the week ahead for the VGK. 3 games at the Fortress coming up for the Golden Knights. Quick reminder for you fans that the spectacular Hotel Californian in Santa Barbara, California is the newest exciting addition to the Foley Entertainment Group. Experience extraordinary stays in one of 121 luxury guest rooms and suites. Taste the region's finest wine at Foley Family Wine Society tasting rooms, and also treat yourself to unparalleled massage at Majorelle, the Moroccan-inspired spa, all in the heart of the American Riviera. Designed for domestic and international guests alike, Hotel Californian is the perfect destination for any traveler seeking a one-of-a-kind luxury experience. Hotel Californian in Santa Barbara's premier urban destination area. Visit hotelcalifornian.com to book your stay today. Dave and Shane with you, Nighttime at noon. We'll take a look ahead for the Golden Knights, what's coming up this week when we continue on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Great to have you with us. Nighttime at noon. Dave Goucher, Shane Hnidy. A reminder for you, be one of the first to join the Vegas Nighthawks family. Secure your season ticket selection priority today by placing a refundable $20 deposit at nighthawksfootball.com. Full season membership will start at just $10 per ticket per game at the brand new Dollar Loan Center located in Henderson. Thanks for tuning in as well on all our social media channels. Of course, we will be with you, some of us, whoever. Shane and I drew the straw today to be here, but the vast roster of Golden Knights broadcasters will be here in some form or fashion every Monday. Throughout the regular season.
Nighttime at noon.
So there you go. Again, for the Golden Knights, 1 up, 1 down so far in the regular season. A reminder, Keegan Kolesar will join us. We expect Keegan at the bottom of the hour, so it'll be good to catch up with the Golden Knights winger as well. Let's take a look, Shane, at what the VGK have ahead this week. So they continue the stretch of, it's going to be, when it's all said and done, 4 of 5 at home to start the season. Wednesday up against the St. Louis Blues. You got the Edmonton Oilers here on Friday, then the New York Islanders on Sunday. And no soft touches, to say the least, in that trio of teams coming in here, starting with the Blues, who've only played one game. Yeah. They're in Arizona tonight, but coming off a 5-3 win in Colorado in their season opener.
Well, and a team that's not happy. They're not that far from winning the Stanley Cup a couple of years. Tampa, of course, doing it back-to-back. But the Blues feel they still have a lot of those players that can take them to that area. I think last year they dealt with a lot of injuries. Torrey Krug didn't have a great year. He was their big acquisition on losing Pietrangelo. Colton Parayko, they're expecting bigger things from him. And David, we all know David Perron. He had a good opening game for the Blues, helping lead them to the win. Vladimir Tarasenko is healthy. So, Ryan O'Reilly, this Blues team, Doug Armstrong, the general manager, said they are expecting them to compete for the top of a very tough Central Division. So, there's no easy games any night. And
no.
We're seeing that, everybody was saying the Pacific Division's, it's going to be a walk either than, Edmonton and Vegas. Well, the Winnipeg Jets just went through Anaheim and San Jose and did not get a win. And it's a tough league to win in each and every night. And for the Golden Knights, these are some big. This is a big little home stretch for them to try and take advantage of home ice, take advantage of the fortress and the energy and the atmosphere that it provides. But they've got to get to their game because this is some tough tasks coming up, starting with the Blues.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see how the Golden Knights come out here. They've got a couple of. They had a practice today, practice tomorrow. They'll have the morning skate coming up on Wednesday. It's an area Pete DeBoer's touched on too, Shane. Look, if we play our game, talking about his team, they like their chances most nights. Yep. We talked about the depth, and they're going to get hit with dipping into it right away. He had mentioned to us at one point, we chatted with him before a preseason game, and he felt, I think in my notes, he had maybe 15 forwards they felt they had, probably 8 or 9 defensemen. But A, they've got to get to their game, and then B, try to maintain it as long as possible. But the Blues come in here on Wednesday, and then you get the Oilers on Friday, right? So the other night, Connor McDavid, hat trick. Ho-hum, nothing to it. Big win over the Calgary Flames. So the Oilers are 2-0 to start the season. Yeah. But as the usual suspects, they had Zach Hyman in the offseason.
They got more depth up front.
It seemed like it was if McDavid and Draisaitl didn't do it the last few years, it didn't really get done.
Yeah.
Now they had somebody like Hyman.
Well, they got Jesse Puljujärvi, who's, Draisaitl and him have 4 points through 2 games. McDavid has 5 points. Very, very dangerous lineup. Connor McDavid, to me, is, and everybody talks Nate McKinnon. Connor McDavid is the most dangerous offensive player in the world. He just is, and he continues to add elements to his game. And I was talking about this earlier, and it's all over, the NHL talk around. In the offseason, Connor McDavid worked on one thing. It wasn't his skating. He doesn't need any work there. But his one-timer, he slap shot. I heard a stat last year. He took 14 slap shots. That's it. He doesn't score from outside of 20 feet. So what happens? He works on it all season. Now it's another element to his game. And what does he score last game? A one-timer off the half wall. Said that's the furthest out he's ever scored a goal. And that's what great players do. They work on what they're not good at. Now there's really no holes to his game, so he's added an element, a dangerous player. They added Hyman, as you mentioned, Duncan Keith on the back end. They feel Mike Smith can be the guy for them. An older goaltender, but certainly he had a great season last year for Edmonton. I think this Oilers team is the best they've had in a while. I think it's the deepest they've had. I don't know how deep their defensive group is. That'll be the one area. But this is going to be the competition. This is a division rival, and one's when you ask the expert, not us, the other experts, that Vegas and Edmonton should be atop the Pacific. So it's to me, it doesn't mean it's one game, but certainly you always want to make a statement early in the year.
Long season, obviously, for all of these teams, getting back to, thankfully, an 82-game regular season. For the Golden Knights, we'll also have, I know it's technically next week, but in this group of games coming up on Sunday, the New York Islanders, and you mentioned earlier, Shane, 0-2 for the Islanders out of the gates in a very competitive Metropolitan Division as well. You've got a team there that the last 2 years has been bumped out in the third round by Tampa Bay, eventually winning the Cup. They gave the Lightning all they could handle last year, forcing them to Game 7 in Tampa that the Islanders won 1-0. And the big add for them is Anders Lee, right? Who
their
missed
captain,
most of last year with a knee injury and back in the fold and in their lineup. But, un-Barry Trotz-like, they've given up 11 goals in the first 2 games of the year.
Yeah, and, you got Lou Lamoriello making the moves. You've got Anders Lee back, as you said, their captain, who they didn't have, Matthew Barzal. They've got it. To me, the Islanders, you look at them on paper, and this is what we talk about. You can look at a lot of teams on paper. The execution they still have to play games. He added a couple of veteran players, Zach Parise, Zdeno Chara, to help out in that room. So, but that's why we say it's still early in the year. A lot of these teams are looking to find their game, and I don't think Barry Trotz will necessarily be pressing the panic button after 2 games. And the Islanders are going to be a very good team. So, yeah, you look at those next 3 games, and as I said, it doesn't matter who it is, but these teams in particular, it's almost better because you can get up for them. The Blues are coming in. This is a team that's going to be, you got the Oilers that are going to be a division rival, and then you're seeing the Islanders, who a lot of people have as the favorite out east, and that have been to the Final Four here in the past 2 seasons.
We've talked a lot, Shane, about teams getting up to play the Golden Knights. That works both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You get these other teams in here, somebody like St. Louis, you expect to have a strong season, Edmonton, and you get the Islanders coming in that, as we said, have been to the Final Four 2 years in a row. The area that Pete DeBoer touched on with us before the game on Thursday in L.A., and funny enough, it turned out to be true that night, basically said if our work ethic isn't where it needs to be on certain nights, we're going to get burned. And they got burned by that on Thursday.
And that's better than, getting maybe a 3-2 victory, right. And, it gets disguised a little bit, that win. So I think it's a good time early in the year as they get to reassess. And I said they have this time to practice to get, everything kind of dialed in here for that next game against St. Louis.
All right. Well, for us, Shane and I will be at the game Wednesday. We go to all the games. We don't necessarily work all the games.
No.
And you could make an argument maybe that's for the better. But Turner, TNT, will have their first regular season broadcast of a Golden Knights game coming up against the Blues on Wednesday. But, of course, we'll have Friday's game against Edmonton and then Sunday against the New York Islanders as well with our great friends at AT&T Sportsnet. So nighttime at noon continuing. We're going to step aside. Keegan Kolesar waiting in the wings in studio. He will join us next on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Dave and Shane with you on a Monday afternoon here in Vegas. A reminder for you, Bill and Carol Foley created the Foley Food and Wine Society to celebrate three of their greatest passions: world-class wines, exceptional cuisine, and outstanding travel destinations. And as a member of the society, you'll have access to an entire portfolio of properties around the globe. The Foley Food and Wine Society offers an exclusive opportunity to join like-minded individuals who seek to experience the finer things in life. Join for free today. Check it out at FoleyFoodAndWineSociety.com. We are pleased to be joined here in Studio 31 by Golden Knights winger Keegan Kolesar. Keegan, all right, let's backtrack. How was your weekend? What'd you do?
Just relaxed. Got my place ready. Mom's coming into town. Don't need to get yelled at for living in a pigsty. So,
Good for you.
Yeah, and then just a lot of relaxing. Take these days off to recharge and get ready for the next couple of games.
How long's Mom in town for? Couple of months?
Long enough to probably get under my skin.
Oh, come on. She's here to cheer you on, look after you.
She's here for a week with my little sister. She brought our dog, so woke up today with dogs licking my face. I was pretty happy about that.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's good. And it said for you guys, 2 games into the year, but, as a group, and you may have heard us talking about, tough loss against LA. Is that something, though, you had this time for you guys to really kind of work on your game, a team game overall? And where do you guys figure you need to kind of improve as you get set for St. Louis on Wednesday?
Yeah, for us, it was just a work ethic. We didn't battle hard. We didn't win any one-on-one battles. We didn't compete hard. We didn't play right in our systems. And normally, after a game like that, you want to play really quick to get it out, the bad taste out of your mouth. But right now we're a little banged up. Some guys are fighting something, so it's nice to just have this time to relax, rejuvenate, and then get healthy as best we can for the next games.
What was the what was practice like today, and I guess B, what was the focus, the main theme coming from the coaching staff?
Let's get our work ethic back. We're a tough team to play against when we're working hard. We have the skill, we have the compete. When you put those together, we're a tough team to beat in this league. Well,
let's talk about your career. As you're in your kind of second season now. You had your first full season last year with the Golden Knights, and I had a great training camp. Pete DeBoer talked about you and Nick Waugh kind of similar. That you guys have this little more confidence coming into camp this year. Is that kind of how you feel? Do you feel a little more adjusted now to the NHL?
Yeah. With this camp, it's nice going through a training camp, not thinking the whole time, am I going to make it? Am I going to be this? Obviously you have to, do your part and show that you should be in this league and on this team. But it was a lot of a stress reliever for me, and it gave me that confidence to, try different things, try new things, shoot more, try and be more offensive. And I had a good offseason with the training staff here, and I feel like it prepared me well for the start here. Yeah,
you mentioned, I think, at one point in training camp, Keegan, you stayed here in the offseason to work out here in Vegas. How much of a benefit was that, do you think, for you?
That was nice for me. I wanted to spend a summer here eventually. I've always just stayed in Winnipeg, and I don't think I've ever seen anything else. So I'm glad I stayed here. I've noticed a big difference in just my playing abilities right now and in the gym. And I'm glad they're translating right now. That was the main focus in the summer. Obviously missed, my family and friends from back home. Only saw them for about a week when I went home. But, I'm glad I make the sacrifice to stay out here.
When you look at your guys, we've heard, Max Pacioretty's going to be out for a while. You're not sure about your captain, Mark Stone. So kind of what's the talk, or is this an opportunity? Do you guys take it for some of you guys to elevate your game and kind of do it as a group collectively to, help pick up for those guys out of the lineup?
Yeah. It's easy to say it's a next man up mentality, but, reality is those are 2 world-class players. It's hard to fill those guys' shoes. So, you can't just tell any one player to, you got to go in this slot and pick up your game. We're going to be a group collective here to make sure that we're all doing better as a team. Everyone's got to step up in their own way, whether it's, me forechecking as hard as I can. More of our skilled players like Marshy, Smitty, Carly, those guys stepping up their game offensively. We have to do whatever we can to not fall down in the standings here and keep climbing.
When you look at your game, Keegan Kolesar joining us on Nighttime at Noon, when you look at where your game is at right now, Keegan, at this stage of your career, what are some of the things you're still working on a daily basis that you'd like to improve and implement into your game?
For me, speed always. I'm a bigger guy, and the game's just constantly getting faster and faster. So for me, I'm always trying to make sure I'm up to pace and playing with a high pace. Offense, obviously. I didn't like the numbers I had for the amount of chances I had, probably right in the slot there. I know I got a really good shot. I'd like to use it more, and in practice right now, Lenny's always harping me to shoot every chance I get. Don't pass the puck. So I always got him probably in the back of my mind now in practice, thinking shoot. Don't ever look for a pass.
That's pretty good when a goalie starts telling you that. Usually it's someone else, a goalie telling you to shoot.
Yeah.
Is it a challenge or is he encouraging?
I don't know. Maybe he's just playing mind games with me. I don't know. But Lenny's the most positive player on our team, and he wants everyone to succeed. So he says things just to make sure that, we know it and we become a better player for it.
Keegan, I've always wondered, there's been so much of a, focus on this team now going into 5 years. Expectation levels are through the roof. From the outside, I know from the inside you guys have high expectations as well, but how much attention do you pay to the outside noise, if that's the way to put it, or do you just kind of put it to the side and focus on what you guys need to do?
It's definitely easy to listen to the outside and get caught up in it. Personally, for me, I just like staying in-house. I keep to myself. I don't let other people outside this team discourage me. And people are always trying to, give tips in here. And I think for us right now, we're a team here for a reason, and that's who we listen to. And we all just pick each other up if we're down, or we give each other a little advice, wherever it may be.
So I had a couple things. First of all, who was your player growing up? Who did you idolize? Who did you look to kind of mimic their game, or is there someone still you do?
Honestly, I didn't watch hockey ever growing up. I wasn't a hockey household. My dad didn't know what hockey was. My mom, she's kind of grown into it now, I guess. I don't know. I always watched Jamie Benn. I think he plays the game the right way. He's a great leader, great offensive instincts, hard player. Sticks up for himself and his teammates. I think he's got all the traits you look for in a player.
So when you dropped the gloves the other night, what's the mindset behind it? You're thinking what?
I didn't like how he was going after our 3 youngest players.
Yeah.
2 of them playing their first game. They're maybe not scared, but they're anxious already. And to have someone breathing down their neck their entire first period, it's not fun. So. For me, it was making sure, we get this settled, handled out of the way, and let these guys play and free up the space for them and let them enjoy themselves.
It's a great answer.
Yeah, so you'd had enough.
It
had enough.
Yeah, you want them to enjoy their first game.
Yeah.
I wanted to enjoy my first game, and my teammates made sure I did.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great. What did you think of the first game? So the new franchise comes in. You guys play the Seattle Kraken. I only ask you because you spent your junior career playing in Seattle. So how do you think it's going to take off there?
They're going to be amazing over there. That city, from when I first got in there, when I ended, it grew so much. And I think, they sold out their season tickets pretty fast, right? The fans and everyone that I've talked to back there, they're beyond excited. The city's very happy to have them there. I'm excited to go back, see my billet family, see maybe my old GM. He's probably be kicking around there. So it'll be nice to just go back to that city. It's a gorgeous city, and I love being down there when I was.
I find it interesting you didn't really watch hockey growing up as a kid. When did it click into your brain that, A, it's a heck of a sport, and B, I might be able to make a career playing it?
I don't know. I still don't really watch much hockey myself now.
Like you're home, you're not flipping through like NHL Network or.
No, this sounds like very childish, but I'll watch South Park or Family Guy.
That's good for you.
Stupid funny shows. But the odd time if it's on in the locker room, I'll watch it. If we're at the game, I'll watch it in between periods, just other games. But for me, I always love playing it. I'd rather be playing it than watching it. That's just how I am with sports.
So at what point?
I never used to watch it when I played. Now that's all I do.
Yeah. But at what point for you did it become a good idea or something that you think, this would be a fun thing to do?
Oh, my junior coach got in my ear. We had a real an FU match, and he was just do you want it? Do you really want it? I was like, yeah, hell yeah. And kind of set me straight there.
Well, good job by him because he certainly got you on the right path. Now look at you. Your game's growing, and I think, for you, the power forwards, it's the game he's mentioned is getting a lot more speed, and everybody, there's not as many guys that can do the fighting, and if you get the offense going and the speed, it's a rare skill set now in the league as opposed to 10 years ago. And is that, I think of the power forwards, Tom Wilson is one guy always comes up as, for you about, continuing that path. Is that what you want to be, that kind of physical presence, yet still keeping that speed and the skill work to the game?
Yeah, I think if you ask a lot of guys, they don't want someone that's heavy coming down on them in the forecheck and hitting you constantly, and eventually you're going to just stop going for that puck, and that's when he can just grab it. So I think it's a big part of my game is bringing that physicality right at the start, and it just frees up space for myself, my line mates. It's what gives me success as a player, and it gives my line success.
This team, Keegan, has been a cup contender incredibly for their entire time in the NHL, starting from year one and then obviously the last couple of years going to the Final Four. I'm curious to know, you guys come up short last year against Montreal. What was your takeaway from that? And you went into the offseason with a mindset of what? What were you looking to improve upon as a group to try to, that next big step is a huge step, right, to try to get back to the final and win it all. But what did you take out of that experience?
Personally, I was able to find out I could play at playoff pace in the NHL.
Yeah.
You grow up dreaming to be in that position, and it finally happens. And for us as a team, we're right there. The organization's been cup finals and semis twice, right?
Yeah.
We're right there. And we're all not happy with how it ended last year. I thought we had a really, really good team. We had it all top to bottom, and we just came up short. And for us, it's tweaking a couple things systematically wise. And, I think we know we're a good team. We have that confidence in ourselves. But like last game, if you're not going to bring the work ethic, it's going to bite you in the ass. So we know this year it's a big year. It's an important year for us. We're right there, and we have that drive to go even further this year.
You mentioned playoffs, and it is the best time of year. Unfortunately, you got an 82-game grind to go for first to get there. But I was interested, how valuable that is for yourself, Nick Waugh, you guys playing the role you did in playoffs, and how much you can learn from being in that intense atmosphere going forward and kind of knowing the expectations the next time you get to playoffs.
It's important. Playoffs is the most important part of anyone's career. I've been fortunate enough the last number of years to go pretty far in every team I've played. In the junior finals number of years, AHL finals, black acing with the team here for multiple runs. So I've been around playoff atmosphere for a long time, and yourself, it just, you bring yourself to that higher level, and you don't know what that looks like until you get in that position. And then once you're there, you understand what you have to bring at that level.
I find it funny that people are so anxious to see what this team does in the playoffs, but you just can't fast forward the calendar for 7 months, right? You've got to put the work in. And
that'd be so nice if we could.
Get to the end of April and early May.
But right to playoffs.
But there is a means to an end, right? And you guys have to build good habits, put the work in to make sure, I would think, that your game is where you want it to be when the playoffs do get underway again next spring.
Absolutely. And this is a tremendous league. This is a great job. We enjoy every step of the way. As much as you want to look forward to those playoffs, you got to enjoy the moment, the ride towards it. There's going to be highs and lows, and it prepares you for playoffs.
I got to ask, I know we're getting closer and Dave's going to cut me off, but
no.
You guys have been through a couple of difficult. You mentioned the bubble last season, how, and it's still there. There's still, we know COVID's part of this world right now, but how nice was it that first road trip in LA for you guys to go out for dinner?
Oh, my God. We all said it. We were just like, we are going to over-order big time. We ended up under-ordering because Marshy looked at the menu. It took him 15 minutes to order, but it's just because he can't say any of the words. He's just like...
Fringlish.
Yeah, he was like, called edamame adame. And we were just like, oh, this might take a while.
I have French guys. Patrick Lee, they used to asparagus was aspergas. Aspergas, the spatula.
So you're under-ordered.
Underordered. Still a great dinner, though. Just nice being out.
Nice to be out.
Nice being out in the public and just enjoying each other.
Nice to have you visit with us here as well, Keegan. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for taking the time. So Keegan Kolesar joining us from your Golden Knights. The VGK getting ready for a busy week. The Blues, the Oilers, and the Islanders all coming to the Fortress. We'll step aside, have one final segment coming up. We're going to take a look around the NHL. Take a look at the start for the Henderson Silver Knights as well. 2-0 out of the gates on Fox Sports Las Vegas. All Request Monday here on Fox Sports Las
I
Vegas.
expected you to start singing.
Hall
coming
&
out of
Oates, You Make My Dreams Come True from 83, I believe. Dave and Shane with you for another, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it might be. Reminder to check out Rock Creek Cattle Company, a hidden gem located in the heart of Montana. This 28,000-acre cattle ranch has something for everyone. World-class golf, fly fishing, hunting, horseback riding, and lots more. Escape the bright lights and discover Big Sky, Montana. Exclusive memberships and real estate opportunities are available right now at rockcreekcattlecompany.com for more information. Once again, we thank Keegan Kolesar. Great to catch up with Keegan as the Golden Knights get ready for a busy week. Just a couple. We're going to get to your questions here, but just as if you missed the beginning of the program, so Pete DeBoer did address some of the injury issues for the Golden Knights. You already know Max Pacioretty out, looks like 4 to 6 weeks. With Mark Stone, he's going to see doctors today. Should know more after that. The Golden Knights head coach also said that in terms of was he optimistic about Stone, he said, I'm not optimistic or pessimistic. I'm nowhere on that. Good sign that Nick Waugh, along with Will Carrier and Brett Howden, appeared to be closer to getting back into the lineup as well. Nick Waugh participated in practice in a non-contact red jersey, but did all the drills throughout practice. So we'll see where things go here for the Golden Knights as they get ready for Wednesday's game. Quickly here, Shane, a look at the Henderson Silver Knights, and a big shout-out to Manny Viveros, the great head coach of the Henderson Silver Knights, not with the team right now, taking a non-COVID leave of absence from the team. We've got to know Manny quite well here over the last couple of years. Great guy, played some golf with him, and we wish him the best. His team's off to a 2-0 start. Logan Thompson, fantastic over the weekend.
Busy.
My math had him facing a lot of shots. 95 shots in 2 games, 88 saves. I got outshot 20-3 in the third period yesterday, but found shorthanded for most of it, but found a way to win. So Pavel Dorofeyev with 3 goals so far. Peyton Krebs with 5 assists for the HSK. So maybe not how they drew it up defensively, but they found a way to win 2 games over the Colorado Eagles over the weekend.
And that's good. That's what you want. You want these players to develop. And if you're those guys that are putting up those offensive numbers, now would be a good time because, as we spoke to earlier in the program with, the Golden Knights and some of the people they're missing, they need to find some offense. And, imagine they'll look to the Henderson Silver Knights for a bit of that. Some players there. Peyton Krebs, of course, 5 assists, as you mentioned. Dorofeyev played the 1 game. I don't know if he's a fourth-line role type player here at the Golden Knights, but he's a guy that just scores at the American Hockey League level. And it's great to see Henderson have that success for those players to continue to develop, to continue to grow their game. And I'll answer because I know there was a question just because we're on the topic about Krebs. Why is he down there? Well, because it's what you want. You want these young players. And, if we'd asked earlier, why do you want them to go down there? You want them to go down there and get some confidence to find, that offensive touch. Guys like him want to be able to put up the points. Well, that's exactly what he's been able to do through the 2 games, 5 assists, probably a ton of confidence right now for Krebs. And we'll see if he's a guy that may be in the Golden Knights lineup on Wednesday.
As well for the Golden Knights, coming up Wednesday against the Blues, then Friday against Edmonton, Sunday against the Islanders. We'll take a look, Shane, at just some other kind of news around the NHL. Did you see Nikita Kucherov leave the Tampa Bay game?
Yeah, it didn't look good. They said it's not going to be short term.
Not day-to-day, said John Cooper. Somebody tweeted out, I got a pretty good chuckle out of it this morning, because Nikita Kucherov missed all of last year, and it didn't matter. He came back and led the playoffs in scoring. Somebody said, well, the playoffs start May 2nd. So he can get himself back for the Lightning by then. But just a fantastic player that left the ice gingerly in their game against Washington. Toronto Maple Leafs and Austin Matthews going to make his season debut tonight. Rocket Richard winner last year, 41 goals in 52 games last year.
That's good.
Not bad. Coming off wrist surgery in the offseason, left wrist was an issue, but for the Leafs, again, they'll talk about the Golden Knights and how they're going to be judged by what they do in the playoffs. The Leafs know that tune. That's the same deal with them, but he'll make his debut tonight, sitting at 199 goals for his career, Austin Matthews. So pretty good, to say the least.
Good chance he'll hit 200.
Pretty good chance, no question about it. How about, we saw the Kings the other night, Shane, and So much talk about, and understandably so, they've got some real good young players, right?
Yes.
They've drafted high by missing the playoffs here the last few years. But who drove the bus against the Golden Knights? Andrei Kopitar with 5 points and Drew Doughty with 4 points.
And what a start to the season. Doughty leading defenseman. Kopitar now 7 points leading the league. Just they were dominant in that game. And, guy for Kopitar, you talk about first of all, when you bring in young players like that and you want to do a competitive rebuild, I think the wording is they use now, if you can have guys like Kopitar that can show the way, that's the best leadership, is by example. And Drew Doughty, we know he's more of an outspoken. We touched about this on the broadcast. I think for him, he is PO'd that his name isn't in the Canadian Olympic conversation, and he is going to go out and do everything he can to prove them wrong. He's won a gold with Canada before. He's a guy that he thought he would have been expected to be named already, and if you aren't, go out and prove it, and he's certainly been able to do that here. Quick start to the season for him.
If he's going to put up 4 points a night,
Yeah.
his chances are pretty good. Kopitar leads the league with 4 goals and 7 points. 3 of the goals and 5 of the 7 points came against Vegas in the big win for them. But
Drew Doughty's got 6 points.
He's got 6
That's
points.
not a bad start.
Yeah, right behind him. So, you've got the Kings that had the big win against the Golden Knights, and an LA team trying to take a step forward. Most of those teams in the California teams, you've got the Kings that are 1-1 so far. San Jose a win in their only game. Anaheim has split the first 2 games as well. And then we mentioned Austin Matthews coming back. So the Leafs only scored 7 goals in their first 3 games, but they won 2 out of 3. So they were able to kind of make up for it. Still with a lot of offensive firepower, but when you add him back into that lineup tonight, pretty lethal. Lineup
absolutely.
there in Toronto. The thing, it's interesting, Shane, and not to, as much as we'd like to not have to continue to talk about COVID, it is still prevalent, right? And you look just today, Blake Wheeler,
Captain of the
Winnipeg
Jets.
captain in COVID-19 protocol. Nathan McKinnon is in the same boat for the Colorado Avalanche. So was their head coach, right, and Jared Bednar. We also have Matthias Janmark here with the Golden Knights. So, but that's the latest in terms of marquee players, is Blake Wheeler. The Jets off to an 0-2 start, and their captain in COVID-19 protocol. So, obviously, wish him the best, but it is something, as much as we don't want to think about it,
No, it's
still prevalent, and it is still out there, to say the least.
And then, they're still going through all the protocols that are required, and I guess the good thing is that they're catching anyone that has it, and hopefully they can stop it there.
Seattle Kraken had 5 players in it before the game against the Golden Knights. I think they ended up playing. Got 3 of the 5 ended up playing in the game, so they got news got progressively better for them, which was good. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of Nighttime at Noon. Thanks to everyone here for making the show possible. Also, a thanks to Keegan Kolesar as well for joining us. Of course, later on today, Darren Millard, Ryan Wallace, the Insider Show right here on Fox Sports Las Vegas from 4 to 6. Golden Knights with a busy week. 3 games of the Fortress. The Blues on Wednesday, the Oilers on Friday, and the Islanders coming up on Sunday. We'll talk to you next time, Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.